Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me and watch this video. For today's project, we will use some Dollar Tree items. And this project will be perfect for go back to school. So we will use notebook that I purchased from Dollar Tree store. This particular notebook measures approximately 8 1/8. The width is 5.5 and the thickness is a little bit more than 1/4 inch. I will also use student planner for 2024-2025. This one is also purchased from Dollar Tree. So we won't need this plastic cover. And the planner dimensions are just about 5 inches. The height is 7 1/4 and the thickness 1/4 inch. And I will use this paper stack collection. Enchanted Botanica. They are 2 sheets per design. So I think I showed this one during Michael's haul, the last one I had. I think this one has beautiful papers. I used this one already in some of my projects. And we will also use some cardstock. I will use black one, dimensions 12 by 12. And we will use chipboard. The dimensions of the chipboard are: you will need 2 pieces of 6 by 8.5. We will need 1 piece 5 7/8 by 8.5. We will use 1 piece 7/8 by 8.5. And we will need 1 piece 1 1/4 by 8.5. So we will start with the cardstock. Now I'm gonna lay the cardstock just so we can figure out where our cardstock cuts are gonna be. So the way we will position our chipboard will be 6 and 8.5, then 1 and 1/4 by 8.5, then a large piece again, 6 by 8.5, the smaller spine, 7/8 by 8.5, and the last piece 5 7/8 by 8.5. So we will need 2 pieces of the cardstock. So let me put this away so we can glue these 2 pieces together. So light strip of glue. Okay, I'm just checking the glue. All right, so now we can reposition our chipboard. So as you can see, the first 2 large panels, they are 6 by 8.5. And the same thing with the spine. The thicker spine will go right here, 1 1/4. So this is how we will glue all of this. So as you can see, I'm leaving approximately 1/8 of an inch space in between the chipboard in all places. Okay, so now we can actually trim off excess of that cardstock, leaving approximately 1 inch border all around. So just do it this way. Now the leftover pieces, please keep it. We will use them right here to cover the spacing in between the chipboard. So now I am not doing the scoring this time. I usually do, but I think this will be okay. So I will run just the spatula against the chipboard. That's almost like doing the score. So I am almost going with the spatula underneath and kind of forcing that score right here. All right. So now let's make sure we can fold this. Okay. And now we will miter the corners. Now we are leaving small cardstock right here in the corner, just to make sure that we can wrap this really nicely. All right, and now we can glue all these panels. Okay, and now I'm gonna just work just a little bit in between the chipboard, just to make that little indentation, so it's actually easy for us to fold this cover. Okay, so now the 5 7/8 panel will always be on your right hand side, because the way we will close this, we will close this panel first, and this will be the final closure, just like that. So now let's cut. We will need 4 strips, and these are approximately a little bit more, actually almost 1 1/4, which we will make it work. So the height of the strips will be 8 inches, and we will need 8 of them. So I got some leftover piece from other project, which I will use just to make sure I have total of 8 strips. I cut 3, I need 5 more. And actually we will need 4. I don't know how I calculate that 8. But we got 4 strips. And the score is somewhere on the middle of that strip. Okay. I will just run it to define that score, and I can feel it under my finger that I'm kind of pulling that paper to that indentation. Okay, we got 2 more. Okay, do that indentation. It's easier to do it now than later. Okay. So now we can start working the scores to make sure that we can close this. So you just pretty much go back and forth at the scores to kind of help the closure. Okay. And this will be our cover. Will be kind of like this. So now we will cut paper to cover the outside. Now let me run right here where the scores are. Now you don't have to do that part, but I think it really helps. So when we are positioning the paper on the outside, we can see exactly where we need to do that. So I will use this paper for the outside. So on the outside, I want actually this alligator. So I need to pay attention how I cut this paper. So since I want the alligator, I'm gonna need 5 3/4, and the height will be 8 1/4. So this will be my front. For the back panel, I need, so let's cut 8 1/4. And now we need 2 pieces. One will be 5 3/4, and one more which will be 5 3/8. If you don't want to cut 5 3/8, if you would do it 5 3/4, that will be fine. Also, you will just have less of a border left. Okay, so those are, and actually this one needs to be 5 5/8. That's okay, I got more paper left. So 5 5/8, or You could cut it 5 3/4. That would be fine also. 5 5/8 by 8 1/4. So now we need to cover the spine. So we will cut one piece. Let me trim this. One piece at 1 inch. And we will need one piece. I'm gonna cut it at 3/4 of an inch. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3/4. All right. So now here is the narrower panel, and I think I'm gonna, just so I don't lose track of it, I'm gonna apply this one first, but I didn't cut the height. The height has to be 8 1/4. So always try it before you glue it, so you can adjust some dimensions if you need to. Okay, so this one is done. Now this will be on the inside, and now we have the front, and this is what I want to do. Okay, this will be the back. Now the narrower spine will go in here. And spine right here. Okay, since this is going to be the back, I am going to put my MaKala sticker. Oops. Right here. Okay. So the outside cover is done, and this is how our project will look like. Okay, so we will cut this cardstock too. Let's cut it to 8 1/4. And we need 2 panels, 5 3/4. And we will need 1 panel. I will cut to 5 5/8. 5 5/8 by 8 1/4. Now we will also need to cover the spine. So another piece, 8 1/4. And then we need 1 inch and 1 piece. I'm gonna cut it to 3/4. Let me make sure it's cut straight. Okay, so the narrower panel will go on your right and your spine. So we will glue it just like that. Your spine, try to position on the middle, right in between those two scores. And we are trying to leave 1/8 of an inch border in between the score and the paper. And the same thing on the top and the bottom. All right, so our cover is done. I hope you like it, how it's turning out. So now we will start to position other pieces. So what I was thinking of doing is our planner, school planner, will go on this side. Our notebook will go on the middle. And for this page, we will do something special. So when you close it, you will close it actually this way, just like that. So let's cover our planner and our notebook. Okay, so we have this leftover paper from the cover, and I think I'm going to use this to cover this planner. So I'm not planning to do anything really fancy with this. I want to cover it just like that and partially the back. So I will apply a glue right here on the cover all around it. Don't put glue too close to the edges. You don't want to glue your planner sheets all together. So now when I position this, I'm trying to align it with the bottom and with the side so I don't have to cut this off. Just like that. And as you can see, this is really simple. So now I will take the knife and I will just trim it against the notebook, and on this side I will trim it towards the outside just like that, because I still want to wrap this and cover this really nicely. So this will be the end result. So now let me just fold this over so it kind of bends nicely right here, just like that. And now I will glue this piece. And I'm putting a little bit more glue towards that spine right here. I want to make sure that this is all glued well. Okay. And now when we open it, we can just trim that excess of the paper. So here is our planner, and you could make it removable. I will just glue it because I think this one is for the whole entire school year, so I don't think you need to remove it. And I just changed my mind because if you want to remove it and just take the planner with you somewhere, you're going to be able to. So I think we're going to make this removable. Since it will be removable, we will finish the back of it. And let me see, this is too short, this one is too short, and I have this one left, which would be perfect just to kind of butt together and glue it. So let's apply the glue. And again, I'm not going too close because that glue is going to spread anyway. Okay. And now I'm trying to match up right next to this paper that we already applied, just like that. Okay, so now we can just trim it. All right, so here is our planner, and since it will be removable, I'm going to put my MaKala sticker on the back, just like that. And now we will make the packet, just so we can remove this. For the packet, I will use some leftover pieces that I have. And I got this wider one. I think that's what I'm gonna use. So let's turn this upside down. We can position this just like that. Fold it over. Just like that. So now we can apply the glue. Again, don't go too close to the edges. You don't want to glue that notebook or that planner into your cover. The glue will spread anyway, so you don't want to go too close. All right. So now I will position this on the middle, just like that. Squish it to make sure it adheres. And you got a removable planner. It goes tight, but that's what you want. You don't want this to come off when we actually close this. So as you can see, the presentation, everything is matching. I think it's coming along just beautiful. So for the notebook itself, these notebooks are coming with the rubber band. I don't like that. So since I don't like it, I will just cut this out. Just cut it all around it. When we finish this up, you won't be able to even see it. So this is what we have. Now to cover this notebook, I will use this paper, which I think it will still match this. But I will also use some of the leftover that I have, because I will wrap this around. So let me just trim this off a little bit. Okay, so I do want to create this fold in here, pretty much to cover right here. When you fold this, there is a little score in here that measures approximately 1/4 inch, and this is 1/4 inch, and for the back we're gonna make it a little bit longer. So I do want to cover this, and I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cover it just a little bit more, just to make sure that this will really grab it. And here we will put this paper with additional decoration. Or let's see. Oh, this will cover actually the whole thing. So we're gonna cover the whole notebook. Now the notebook height is a little bit less than 8 1/4. So I will cut this paper to 8 1/4, and we will trim off the rest if we need to. So I will glue this on a top just like that. So let's place the glue. Again, I'm not putting glue too close to the edges. So now I'm gonna match up the bottom and the side, so I don't have to do much cutting and trimming. Okay, let's turn this around and we will fold, because this is how we will glue this. So now when I'm folding, I'm trying to adjust it and have really nice and even right here on the bottom. Okay, so now I will apply the glue right here where the spine is gonna be, and on the notebook. Again, trying not to go too close to the edges of that notebook. So now we're gonna squish this, and when we fold that, match up the bottom of your notebook. Okay, and we have beautiful cover. So now this page got glued because of this, and I will just remove it because we will decorate this side also. So now I will just trim all around those edges. Just like that. Now our cover is almost done. We still need to trim this side, especially the corners. So I'm just going around it with my knife. And here is the notebook. Now we will make this one also removable. So I'm gonna put another one of my stickers. Now we will position just like that. So I won't decorate this side, although we will make something. And I have some of this left, so I'm gonna use that to make the packet. So let's put this on the inside, fold that over. Now I'm gonna remove it just a tiny bit so it's not that difficult to put the notebook back on the inside. We will apply the glue. And we will position the way we want to glue this. So now let's push it from the inside, just like that. And now you can remove it. Now, when you're removing this, you see that we have this notepad. So you're gonna have to kind of go this way, put it in, and we got that portion done. But the notebook, we still have to decorate. So let me just make sure that this adheres. So for the notebook, we still have this piece left. And what I'm thinking is making little pocket right here. Just like that. But I think this is too wide. So we will trim this. I will trim this to 2.5 inches. If I remember correctly, the notebook is 8.25 almost. Yes. So I'm gonna cut this down to, let me remove that border. I will cut this down to a little bit more than 8.25, like maybe 1/16 more. So the packet will be on the front, and I can see it when you fold this, this is trying to bend. So I will just put little score, just like that, so the paper wouldn't lift off. So now we will make it very, very simple packet. We will just glue this just like that, trim off the little excess. So I am gonna make just a tiny mark with my pencil. So I'm lining up the bottom together with that pocket, and I'm gonna slide it just a tiny bit down, and I'm gonna put little marking here and in here on both sides. And this is not really marking, so I'm gonna just take something, just a little tiny mark on both sides. So I did that mark because we need to see where to apply the glue. So just a small strip all around, small strip of glue all the way to that mark, just like that. So now when we put our little packet, we are lining up with the bottom and at least with one side, so we don't have to trim too much. So let's push this. Okay, we got our packet. So now when we open this, I will just trim the corners, the excess of the paper, just like that. So now we have beautiful cover with the little pocket in here. You can put anything in there you would like. Now we need to finish the back. So I have some of this paper left, which I will basically glue it just like that. So when you open it, you have really nice presentation. And this is also too long, so I will trim it a little bit. And I will just apply the glue on the inside all around to make sure we can glue this. Okay, and when I try to position this sheet, I'm trying to really align it with the bottom. so I don't have to cut all 3 sides off, just like that. So now, as you can see, you just need to have something with really nice and sharp blade to cut off this paper. Okay, and now we can just round the corners. I'm gonna use my little scissors and trim this. Let me use just a little bit bigger scissors, it's just easier. Okay, round the corners. And we have our beautiful notebook that is also removable. As you can see, it goes tight, but you can remove it. Now this collection came also with some cutouts, so I think I will use this one. And now this is, as you can see, way too wide, so I will try to trim it just up to that circle, maybe even a little bit less. And we can place this in here. You could round off the corners, and I think that's what I am gonna do. Just a little bit, and you can place little note or maybe a little message, something. Okay, so now we have the last page to work with. For this page, since this could be used really as a back to school, I would like to use few different things that I think you might need in school, in class. So let me open this. So I have some small sticky notes that I will position right here on the outside. I also have little flags that I think I'm gonna use it right here. And those I am just gluing. Now the backing of those sticky notes is so thin that if you use them up, you can just glue another one right on the top of it. Okay, and we still have some space left in here, and that will be pencil holder. So for pencil holder, I will use a little bit of that leftover cardstock that I have, and the space that we have left, it's about 2.5 inches. So we will pre-cut this. And this particular piece measures, it's actually 2 1/8. It could be only 2 inches, it doesn't matter. But we need to score this. And we're gonna score this at 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Now we're gonna make a space of 2 inches, so our next score is gonna be 3 inches, 3 1/2, and 4. So we really need 4-inch long piece. So wherever we have the last score, I am gonna cut this off right on the score itself at 4 inches. And because this one is 2 1/8, I am gonna trim it to 2 inches. And this will be our pen holder. Just like that. Now, I will not do much with this. What I am gonna do is decorate only the top portion, the 2-inch square. That's the only decoration we will have. And now this is the piece that I still have left over, and I don't really want to use it because I could use it somewhere on the border. I got this piece left, and I think that's what I'm gonna use. So I will cut this piece to 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and I want to place this just like that on the top, just so it's everything is matching. Now the edges right here, only from outside to the first score, we will cut on an angle on all 4 sides. Just like that. And the way we're gonna glue it is we will position this somewhere in here. Now, just to make sure that your position is right, just put some pen, pencil, something, and you do want to have little bit space on the top and on the bottom left. So I will position this just like that. Let me squish it from the inside, make sure this is positioned straight. And this will be our pen or pencil holder. Now, you don't have to only put pens or pencils. For example, I can put few pens in here. If you want, if you use marker a lot, you can place it. You can place your pencil in here. So as you can see, you have plenty of room to put whatever you like on this side. So I hope you like this project. I hope you enjoyed watching me making it. I think it came out just beautiful. You can use as a back to school, you can use it in an office, you can use pretty much in any environment.